What's happening, viewers? This is We Crusader, and this is the companion video that goes with How to Platinum Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. Here we will go into depth of the specific trophy, Manifest Destiny, which is to complete the Web of Destiny and all of its challenges. Now, there are two consistencies in every level, and that's Emblem Collector and Spider Collector. As I said in the other video, the locations of the hidden spiders are outlined during my playthrough in the description box. Just know that there are one challenge in each level, which is to find 8 hidden spiders. Another challenge is to find a specific number of emblems, and I'll be sure to inform you what amount when we get to it. Now let's begin at Kraven's level. The first challenge is to walk through the giant door that just screams, "Welcome to the Web of Destiny, good luck with all the challenges." Although I would like to point out in this level you'll need to collect 35 of the 60 emblems. Happy hunting! Immediately afterward, perform 5 consecutive web swings in a straight line or in a circle, your choice. When Kraven introduces his boy band, go to defensive stance and let them attack you 10 times. Followed by that, throw 10 jars at them. If you run out of hunters or jars, more will appear in the rooms that are upcoming. Speaking of, if you defeat all the hunters in this area, you'll get the thrill of the fight. In the next area, you'll have the opportunity to zip kick 5 hunters off their perch point. When you learn Web Strike, use it 10 times on that medium-sized hunter. With the help of more hunters at this point, you should have Thrill of the Hunt. Then you'll come to a courtyard. Defeat all the hunters in 4 minutes. Don't lollygag and you'll be fine. In the next area, Kraven will be shooting you with a sniping rifle. Dodge 10 bullets by either moving or defensive stance. As you fight the big bonehead in the arena, perform the circle button finishing grab. Then defeat Kraven the first time and watch him fly out of the cage.
No! You threw off my groove!
I'm sorry, but you've thrown off the Emperor's groove.
Now during the second fight with Kraven, destroy 10 pillars. Just let him use his boomerang attack or his charge attack or kick him off the perch points. Now in the Noir levels you'll have a bit more freedom to do some of the challenges, but they are a touch more difficult because they usually revolve around stealth. First of all, you'll need to collect 20 of the 30 emblems, so shouldn't be too hard here. There are 3 stealth sections in this level. First is a bit linear, second is an open warehouse, and third is a huge open area. There is a corridor of sorts, but it's a bit narrow to do much. You'll need to take out 5 guards without being seen, so do that as soon as you start the level. If all goes well, you'll be done by the time you reach the first tunnel. Throughout the level, you'll need to do the following. Perform 3 takedowns crawling on a wall, perform 3 takedowns on the same level from a distance, perform 5 takedowns from a perch point, and the trickier one is to perform 3 takedowns within arm's reach. Now be careful with that last one. Too close, and you'll tip them off, and too far, it won't count. Attempting those will get you stealth and style. By the end of the first stealth section, you should get Open Gates and Spider's Mark. And during the first fight with Hammerhead, have him destroy 6 stone columns. Have him see you, duck behind a column, and he'll shoot for a while. When he stops, have him see you again, and rinse and repeat until the 6 columns are destroyed. Am I forgetting something?
Yeah, don't get shot!
That's an excellent suggestion. Then defeat Hammerhead the first time. At the end of the last stealth session, you should get Night Off and Spider's Bite. Then defeat the ambush in less than 2 minutes, and the last challenge is yours. In Hobgoblin's level, you need to collect 25 of the 40 emblems. There are 2 freefall sections, and by the end of the second section, you'll need to punch Gobby 25 times and have him run into 5 objects. During the first fight, use Web Shot to make him drop his bombs 3 times, so if you haven't bought it yet, you'll need it here. Then defeat him for another challenge. While chasing him, be sure to zip on top of one of these towers. Inside the first building, you'll come across these benches. Toss 5 of them at the public eye. When you get outside, you'll be swarmed by jet bikes. Destroy at least 5 of them before moving on. Next, Accelerated Vision will be open to you, and so will 2 more challenges. Divert 3 missiles to officers and defeat 5 in Accelerated Vision. Note, just the finishing blow has to be in Accelerated Vision. In the same area, you'll want to toss out 5 of Hobgoblin's bombs at the officers, because there's only one other section you can do that, the rooftop arena. But you'll be distracted by another challenge, so this is the best time to do it. Before the second freefall section, you will have taken down 30 officers, which leads to the rooftop arena, and you'll have to defeat all the enemies in 4 minutes, except Gobby. And the only thing left after that is to defeat 20 gargoyles in the final fight. Now in Electro's level, you have to collect 40 of the 70 emblems. I think the ultimate levels have the most emblems and enemies. The first area you can start the challenge is Zip In Zapper. More perch creatures appear during Electro's second fight and outside the main power plant. Rescue the first batch of workers, then proceed to defeat Electro the first time. You'll come to an area where red creatures ambush you. Defeat them all in under a minute. Piece of cake, right? When you get outside, there are 3 things you want to do here. First, dodge the 3 electrified trucks. Then you want to manipulate the green creatures to kill 10 of their own. If you can't do that here, you'll have chances later. Then you want to disrupt the overcharge of the purple creature by throwing something at it. At least twice here and once more later, or all 3 times here if you wish. You have to be patient. It takes time for the creature to become overcharged, and if it hits you in that state, it will go away, not to mention it'll do damage. Then when you get Rage Mode, it will complete another challenge, then followed by defeat Electro a second time. Then you will come to outside the main power plant. You will have to defeat all the enemies in this area under 4 minutes, plus there will be a couple more challenges here, plus more collectibles, such as the hidden spiders. Fortunately, you can reserve the collectibles until after Blackout, just don't enter the next area. When you're attacked by a wave of red creatures, use Rage Mode to land 25 consecutive hits. Now that will be tricky because Rage Mode is very bare bones at this point. Then you'll want to defeat 25 more enemies in Rage Mode. Eventually, after that and in the power plant, there will be a bunch more red creatures to fight. Which brings me to the last challenge, which is to save 5 workers in the power plant. Now Sandman's level isn't exactly going to be a day at the beach, but it's manageable. You'll need 40 of the 65 spider emblems. When first moving forward, be sure to web zip across 3 moving objects. Then during the first fight with Sandman, be sure to throw 10 water barrels at him. Now some of these challenges will revolve around water. It's almost like water is essential or something. Throughout this sandstorm, you'll need to throw 25 water barrels at sand creatures as well as to use water valves to turn sand creatures into mud pies. As you mosey along to the first water tower, you'll encounter a sand golem. Annoying buggers, aren't they? And you'll need to defeat 5 of them. 1 of them is here, 2 of them are en route to the second tower, and 1 is at the second tower, as well as 2 are in the salt mines. Then defeat Sandman a second time. Same methods as the first, except he's bigger. In the beginning of the next area, you'll come across a tornado spitting out objects. Keep zipping across them to stay airborne for 30 seconds. Go too fast and you'll run into the tornado. Go too slow and you'll run into a wall. During the process, you'll likely get Zip Master as well for zipping across 50 objects. Near the second water tower, you should get Sand Blaster. When you knock down the third water tower, you will get Waterfall. Next challenge is to protect Drill from the sand golems. Just beat them as fast as you can. Then flee from Sandman as he pulls a trick from Imhotep's book. Lastly, you'll need to find and land on Juggernaut's helmet in the final fight. There's really no set destination. You might just have to search for a while and get lucky. Now, Vulture's level is going to be really tricky. As a note, you'll need Spider-Man Noir's charge attack, so purchase it before doing this level. First of all, you'll need to collect 25 of the 40 spider emblems. In the first stealth section, you'll need to immediately get off the ground and perform 5 consecutive takedowns while remaining above ground. Add 2 more, and be sure not to be detected throughout the whole thing, and you'll get stealthier. You will have only 3 chances to do stealthier. Here, the stealth section in the big open area, but you'll be doing another challenge, and the final warehouse. Fortunately for you guys, the only required type of takedown is to stand on the ground and slam the unsuspecting thug into a wall 5 times. You'll come across a bar and have a good old-fashioned bar fight. Be sure to win in less than 2 minutes. Then crawl across the 2D crawling section in less than 45 seconds. This time trial is not exactly forgiving, so you'll want to rush it even if you get spotted. Then, either in the bar fight or in this combat section, you'll need to do Spider-Man Noir's charge attack on 5 enemies. Win the first fight against that blooded turkey. Then flee! Flee from the train! And while you're fleeing, be sure to do a minimum of 5 web swings. In the next stealth section, you will have 5 minutes to save all the civilians. So if you have more wall slams or heaven forbid still have to do stealthier, here's your chance. Initially the time will be forgiving, but it will dwindle relatively quickly. If you have to cut and run, meaning just grab the civilian and go, then be sure to do that. Next, be a firefighter and save the civilians from the burning building. Thanks a lot for that, Vulture. Next is the final stealth section and the final chance in case you have any missing stealth challenges. By the end of it, you should get Ninja Spider. Lastly, in the final fight, use Web Shot to make Vulture drop his Molotov cocktail 3 times. As a note, it has the potential to burn a lot of his health. Now let's move on to Mr. Mean and Green. You'll need to collect 45 of the 80 spider emblems. Good luck with that, but in all honesty, it's not like they're cleverly hidden. With the first heavy boy, wait for him to launch missiles. He always launches 2 at a time, then divert those missiles back at him. To get ahead, do at least 3 missiles for now, but know that the challenge calls for 5 in case you want to get it over with. Then bash the shield officer for another challenge. Another thing to know is eventually in this level you'll want to defeat 10 enemies with accelerated vision. Same rules apply as in Hobgoblin's level. Then you'll come across these lovely acidic eggs. With these eggs, you'll want to do the following. Throw 5 of them at public eye officers, use them to melt the door in front of you, use them to melt 10 fans, 1 of them here, a bunch more in the next room, a bunch more at the metro station, as well as a few along the way. Lastly, blow up 50 eggs just by being near them. If you fight every scorpion you see in this room, you'll likely get Exterminator before you leave it. If not, you'll get it relatively quickly because there's an infestation going on here. Next, you'll play Protector to get Protector. During the first fight with Scorpion, defeat him in 2 minutes. Now this is about as unforgiving as it gets. Make sure you use defensive stance and dodges attacks, and make sure your aim with the eggs is exactly on the mark. You can never win with an egg joke. After that, you'll end up at the metro station. Like I said earlier, another bunch of fans are here. So try to save all the civilians under 3 minutes. Keep in mind the health bar is collective. As you chase after Stone, there's an arena waiting for you, and it'd be great to defeat all of the enemies under 4 minutes. Note, here's another chance for Return to Sender if you haven't completed it yet. It should be relatively simple unless you encounter glitches, like I do, from time to time. The last challenge is to defeat 10 enemies on the glass roof before it breaks. Now, I've had different experiences where sometimes it would break pretty quickly, or other times it would take forever to break. Just focus on the officers and the scorpions and save the heavies for last. Now it's time for... Here you will need to collect 90 of the 150 spider emblems. No, that's not a typo. That's not a mistake. You heard me right. There are 150 spider emblems. If you want the challenge, it's not that bad, but if you want the platinum score... Anyway, break your first camera. This level is as free roam as it can get. While you're swinging around breaking merchandise, you'll need to disarm 10 fanboys. If you don't have it, buy it. To get one of the cameras, you'll enter a room, and before you fight the huge Deadpool fan, you'll encounter a commercial break. And during this break, you have to defeat 15 Deadpool fans. 2 words, rage mode. And by doing so, you'll get an anger management. And be sure to use the circle button finisher on the huge Deadpool fan. Not only will you get huge surprise, you must use it twice more later on the second oil rig. You'll encounter 2 on a rooftop and 1 in another room. But by the end of the first oil rig, you should get fanboy beatdown. If not, you'll get it later because there's way more than 50 enemies in this level. You'll get technical difficulties by destroying all the cameras in the first oil rig. Now on Deadpool's arena, here's the best chance to lure 5 fans to be hit by those bot bags. This is very tricky. You have to make them touch the bag and make it explode, but since these fans are fast and like to be near you, you'll also be near the bag yourself, which means you may get hurt unless you move out of the way the last second. If you get hurt, it's only minimal damage. And if you mess up, there are other chances on the second oil rig. Speaking of, on the second oil rig, there will be, like I said before, there's a roof with 2 huge Deadpool fans. Lure them to attack other enemies, including each other, for another challenge, and for good measure, finish them off with the circle button to do a challenge I previously mentioned. You will get show cancel for destroying all the cameras in the second oil rig. This next part you have to get through pretty quickly because you only have 1 minute to get to the end. It's a crime, really, because you must resist Deadpool's dialogue. Lastly, in the final fight, you must take out Gunpool first, Bladepool second, and Bombpool last, in that specific order. Next is the Juggernaut. You'll need to collect 45 of the 80 emblems. Alright. During the first fight, there are 2 things you need to do before you bash on Buckethead. First, run around dodging as you go so you can early destroy 50 objects. The other is to zip over 5 objects thrown by Juggernaut. Note, this is easier to zip over the rocks and maybe the cars, but not the cement mixing trucks. And if you don't do it here, you can still have chances during the final fight. Now bash on Chrome Dome for another challenge. Juggy will toss you to a warehouse filled to the rim with mercenaries. Here you're going to flex out your combat repertoire by doing the following. Attack 5 mercenaries with a charge attack. And now for group hug, I like to use web throw, and how I got it here was by forcing 1 mercenary into a corner and tossing the other around and accounting. Plus, I think the throw has a bit more aim than, say, the kick. Lastly, throw 10 objects at the mercenaries. Doesn't matter what it is. You'll be introduced then to a mercenary captain. You need to take out 5 of these bad boys, and by the end, if memory serves, you'll encounter enough. In the next room, Juggernaut will be tossing debris at you, so manipulate him to throwing debris at 3 different mercenaries. Another thing to do in this room is to disarm 10 mercenaries. Yeah, this challenge again. Ugh. On the way to the construction site, you should have taken out your 50th mercenary for another challenge. When you get to the construction site, save the construction workers, and if you still need to disarm mercenaries or demote the captains, use your last chance. Then when Juggernaut continues to throw debris at you, use them to your advantage and zip up to the start of the Oscorp building. Lastly, you want to zip up the Oscorp building in less than 45 seconds. And keep in mind, there are 2 hidden spiders here, so unless you know exactly where they are, you don't have the time to hunt for them. Now we come to the coup de grace of stealth challenges and goblins level. Oddly enough, it has the least amount of emblems to collect, being 15 of 25. There are 2 stealth sections of this level. A huge one at the start and a medium-sized one later on. The big challenge you need to concern yourself with is to take down 10 thugs in a row without raising an alarm.
That's outlandishly cruel.
I know, right? It would be best to do this challenge in this big area. My trick is to start at the lower left area on the tower, then work my way counterclockwise. You can't go clockwise because you'll likely get caught by that guy a little after the tower. Now during this ordeal, you have to do the following. You need to take out 5 goons standing 1 level above them, as well as to do 6 count them, 6 different types of takedowns. And here they are. The previously mentioned above the goon, the ever so classic perched, hanging out on the wall. Ooh, the ever so painful wall slam, the fan favorite on the ground, and the oh so infamous within arm's reach. Thank you, been a wonderful audience. Next, you need to save the civilians in this first circus yard. Inside the circus tent, toss the ball at 5 goons and use spider stomp to knock back 5 more. At the end of the second stealth section, you should achieve stealth master, and this is your last chance for the previously mentioned stealth challenges. Next challenge is to bust the crazy clown. Sorry, Mr. J, this is Marvel, not DC. I meant this crazy clown. To pick the right one, look for the one with the more erratic eye movements. Next is to win the inverted fight room within 2 minutes. The distorted camera may be, well, distorting, but it shouldn't be too bad. Next, save that random civilian conveniently in the way of a runaway Ferris wheel. I know, weird, right? There are 3 challenges remaining, and they all involve Goblin. First of all, use 10 web strike of aids against him. Then in the 3rd round, Goblin will summon goons, so you have to convince him to attack 10 of them. With his strength, it should be done rather quickly. Lastly, put that mobster monster in his place. In Dr. Octopus's level, you'll have to find 35 of the 60 emblems, but fair warning, this batch is a bit more cleverly hidden than what you're used to. The level is also a bit more open area, so I'm going in order of the lab numbers, and I would recommend you buy the charge attack upgrades for $20.99. First, as you skydive for your life with fire hot on your heels, dodge 50 arms. If you need to slow down to successfully dodge, you can, and you'll have a little bit of leeway before the fire catches up. Now throughout this level, you'll need to use and empty your entire accelerated vision gauge 5 times. It's not as bad as you think. Then the other things to do is defeat 5 enemies in 1 accelerated vision. 2 words, charge attack. You may get it while attempting another challenge we'll get to later on. Now outside of lab 1, you will run into a lab creature that drops a core when defeated. You'll want to throw this core at 3 enemies, but these type of lab creatures only spawn outside of labs 1 and 3 for it to count, so aim wisely. Then inside lab 1, you'll want to web slam an officer 5 times, which can be done in 1 combo. Then you want to toss 3 maintenance drones at unsuspecting fools, and these drones can be found inside any of the labs hovering near the core. Outside of Lab 2, run along Doc's menacing mechanical arm. In a room inside Lab 3, you'll be ambushed by lab creatures. It's a bit tricky, but you can manage to charge attack 5 of these creatures in 1 stream, and if accelerated vision is activated, it'll count towards that previous challenge. In the next room, web strike 5 jet bikes, and you'll encounter a hell of a lot more, so many chances. Then pull down 4 glass walls in here, and the 5th one for the challenge is in Lab 4. Outside of Lab 4 is the second mechanical arm. By all means, destroy it. Then pull the final plug of the energy reactor, but be careful, this one is a bit explosive. Then the final challenge is to make good Doctor perform laser surgery on 5 of her mutant soldiers. Finally, we are at the finale with the Red Death himself. Firstly, collect 35 of the 55 Spider emblems. I would also recommend fully upgrading Ultimate Spider-Man's charge attack before starting. In the first room with the horde of corrupted shield agents, I prefer to use the term zombies, use charge attack to hit 10 of them in 1 burst. I suggest letting them huddle together around you without grabbing you, then let them have it. Then here I would suggest you start the challenge knocked back. Now, the 25 knockbacks don't have to be simultaneous, but they all 25 of them have to be done at some point. There's also the challenge feeling angry. You'll have a multitude of chances to use rage mode here and there. There's way more than enough enemies, enough to consider this a standard zombie flick. Then there's also maximum carnage, which is to have 1 rage mode last at least 30 seconds. Just find a crap ton of enemies in an area, go nuts. You'll need to do 3 web pulls, and 1 of the doors is right here, while the 2 others are later on in the level. Next, save the innocent, I use that word loosely, civilian. After that, you'll come face to face with the badass Slayer robot. You'll encounter many during the level, just be sure to decimate at least 10 of them. Okay. Now there's another tricky challenge. Oh joy. You have to throw an explosive barrel to ignite 5 enemies simultaneously. My only advice is look for a crowd of zombies all bunched together and hope for the best. Next in the prison arena, throw burning debris at the symbiotes. There needs to be 25 hits by the end, but 1 debris can hit more than 1 symbiote. After surviving such a ride, you'll get jailbreak. Now, during the first fight with Carnage, you need to kick him into the reactor 5 times. He'll only voluntarily go to that perch if he slimes up the arena. He only does that after taking some damage. He doesn't have enough health for that method, so you have to lure him to the perch point and hope you're fast enough to kick him in. How do you lure him? Simple. Stand on the perch point and he'll jump towards you. So zip off, then zip back before he jumps somewhere else. I would also like to mention if you're too slow, Carnage will kick you into the reactor, and that hurts. The next challenge is to flee once more. This time it's from a crashing shield helicarrier. Finally, the last challenge is entire game is to make Carnage destroy 3 Slayers in the final fight. Now he'll destroy the Slayers automatically once he's forced outside of his egg pod thingy, whatever it is. Assuming you protect all the Slayers, he'll end up destroying 6 of them. Even if you manage to save only 1 per round, that's still 3, so you have nothing to worry about. Whew.
Being a big hero sure makes you thirsty.
But this is how you achieve the trophy, Manifest Destiny. Most are pretty straightforward, but if by chance you didn't do the challenge in the first run of the level, you'll probably get to do it the second time, because these are really not that difficult, except for maybe 1 or 2. Well, thanks for joining me. Good luck to all you Spider-Man. This is Weed Crusader signing off. I will see you guys next time.